Well, the building hasn't collapsed yet in North Austin from the airplane strike. They were telling the locals, though. Our reporters, Rob Dew and Jason Douglas, were out there. Oh, it's probably going to collapse because everybody knows when a plane crashes into a building, it collapses. Building 7 wasn't hit by a plane, but it collapsed. Incredible. Now, this is another story here. I said hours and hours before they took the alleged kamikaze attacker of the IRS facility, the IRS office building in North Austin, I said we needed to get the internet records, and a lot of good internet people know how to get into people's websites. And I thought to myself, if they take that website down, there's no reason to do it. They're trying to cover something up, and they're grabbing all the video footage. You'd think, well, that's for the investigation. No. So when you go to Stack's website, embeddedart.com, we have this all linked up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. It says this website has been taken offline due to the sensitive nature of the events that transpired in Texas this morning and in compliance with the request from the FBI. If you want to see the original letter, please see the archive version of The Smoking Gun. And we have it, of course, Watson first discovered this, and then the Statesman picked it up, and The Smoking Gun. We have it saved up at PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. So the FBI request they take the site down. Isn't there even danger of losing it if they do that? But archive.org has it. They already had it because they basically saved most of the sites. The Wayback Machine, I bet, has it. All these other sites that save sites. This is very suspicious. This gets worse by the minute. I want to continue with Robert, Dan, Cameron, Blake, and Guy. I was going to have this fellow on for about 20 minutes today, but because of this story, we're focusing mainly on what could be a false flag attack, could be a random nut, but it doesn't look good with all the pre-preparation we've seen. The New York Times, Newsweek, all these publications attacking me. My crew all read the Texas Monthly cover story they did. In fact, you guys have that article? Is there a copy left around here? It's one of the fairest pieces I've seen, but still a hit piece, still deceptive. And I wanted to take issue with it and go over some of the disinformation in it. I'll have to do that later in the week, tomorrow, Sunday, or next week, because all this is overshadowed. But Alex Jones is about to explode, is the article. And scroll down. I don't know if they have any of the other photos that are actually in the actual magazine. But it's just something else. The point is, all this media is covering us. I wouldn't even call this a hit piece. I think Blakesley, the guy that wrote it, is a nice guy and really believes what he wrote. Just some of it's wrong. Basic stuff. Like I said, no, we had the 9/11 Truth Conference in 2006 in Los Angeles, and it says 2007. They didn't change that. It says, I said we would have martial law from the flu outbreak. No, I said the feds were preparing for it, and we're going to try to test it. I gave them the videos. I gave them the evidence of where I said it. Didn't matter. It's in the article. Stuff like that. The point is that media all over the place isn't going to give us attention unless we're being built up to be destroyed. And they're attacking the Tea Parties. They're attacking the anti-Federal Reserve people because the globalists are on the ropes. They're in trouble. Let's go to Anthony Heil from We Are Change Ohio, who in October of 2008 at a campaign event got Sarah Palin to talk about she wants a new 9/11 investigation. Now, that's more than what Deborah Medina said, saying, well, I agree people have a right to their own opinions. Beck made a big deal out of that, but here's his darling going further than her. This story is getting out there to a lot of people to show the hypocrisy, but now we're not really talking about that today because of the attack. But I know you're a listener, Anthony. Have you not heard me break down all these different facets? Do you agree with me that this looks very suspicious, or what's your take on this attack?
Well, Alex, it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and walks like a duck. So, I mean, we don't have all the information right now, but as we saw before back over the summer, the Von Broom fella, right after this incident happened, Glenn Beck was immediately saying, oh, look, it's this guy's a hero to the 9/11 truthers. So the media is definitely going to use this and try and spin it in some way, because we're seeing that the Tea Parties are failing. The Republican co-ops of the Tea Parties are completely failing.
And by the way, they are. I mean, Nevada, Arizona, California, Texas, major Tea Party original groups are saying, we are not with the Republicans, get out of here.
Right. I mean, the Ron Paul and the 9/11 Truth Group started the Tea Party movement. We started that in 2006, 2007, and now it's being hijacked by people like Glenn Beck and Sarah Palin. And people aren't falling for it. They're tired of Democrats. They're tired of Republicans. People are hungry for a new solution. And
the controlled liberal media tried to label it as a right-wing thing. That's failing.
It's failing completely.
Because if it's not a right-wing thing, it's a populist, constitutional thing, and we can get liberals and conservatives to agree on getting our country back.
Exactly, and they're definitely afraid of people like Deborah Medina, who is a true constitutionalist candidate, and that's why Glenn Beck, he mentioned 9/11 just out of the blue, just like in 2007. Just like in 2007 when Ron Paul, they asked him during the primary debate, they tried to group him in with 9/11 truthers. He just said, that's their free speech, that's what they can do. I'm not associated with, I have my own views. And it's happening again, and it's just disgusting. And I think this really shows Glenn Beck, this really shows his true colors and who he's working for.
Well, I agree with you, and I hope this isn't staged. I hope this was just a nut or somebody who was really mad at the IRS and did something terrible. But they're already spinning it in the media. Headline, right-wing domestic terror attack. Austin plane crash labeled right-wing domestic terror attack by Obama supporters. They're already out there with their talking points pushing this to now demonize the Tea Party and label it as right-wing and extreme.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a co-op. Like I said before, the co-op of the Tea Party movement, the freedom movement, the constitutional movement, the neocons that have been trying to co-opt that, it's completely failing in their face. And maybe it just looks like they're getting desperate. I mean, like I said, we don't know. This just happened today. But hopefully it doesn't come out as being as David Icke would say, a problem, reaction, solution.
Well, they know that if they immediately posted on his site, and the way they would do this is they'd kill him, stick him in a plane, remote control it into the building. That's even better than classic mind control. That's a classic op. And there's a good chance that's what happened. Again, I predicted exactly what would come out with the underwear bomber. 3 or 4 days after it happened, they let him on the plane. They got him on. Somebody else was there. They were videotaping it in the drill to make him think it was part of a drill. They set him up. They blocked him from being on watch list. The government ordered the State Department to let him on board as part of an intelligence operation. Same thing with the 9/11 hijackers. We've had the former head of the embassy where they got through from Saudi Arabia here confirming that. You know, we've learned their fingerprints. We've learned what makes them operate. We've learned how they tick. And so looking at this and looking at all the preparation and looking at everything that goes into it, if it's a staged op, look for them to find more and to find out he's a 9/11 truther and to find out he's a birther. Because, again, they'll give you something that's just kind of wider against the IRS at first because they know if they come out with him being a 9/11 truther, immediately people won't buy that. But look for them to get you hooked and to where it's broadly demonizing anybody that doesn't like the IRS and then expand it out from there. Boy, if we see that. Anything else, Anthony?
Well, yeah, this event definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, look at the underwear bomber. Why did they let him into the country without even a passport? So, anyways, what I was going to talk about is when I talked to Sarah Palin back in late 2008, I went to this event. I was by myself. I didn't get good camera angle. I didn't have anybody to come with me, so it was very difficult to angle it. But I asked her, I said, would you support the victims' family members and first responders who are calling for a new investigation? She said, I do twice. And she even asked me myself, she said, were you affected? Do you have friends? And I told her, yeah, I have friends. I have friends and people that have been affected directly? And she said, I do. And this was back, like I said, this was about 2 months after John McCain had. This was 2 months after John McCain announced her as being vice president. So it was just kind of on a whim. I was by myself. It was right in my hometown. So I asked her, and the question is, Alex, why is it that Glenn Beck, who has been propping up Sarah Palin, she said more about 9/11 and supporting a new investigation than even Deborah Medina?
No, you're absolutely right, Anthony. And give us the Ohio We Are Change website.
Sure, it's wearechangeohio.org. We're going to do a showing of Terror Storm this weekend on Saturday. That's up on our meetup. You can just go to meetup.com/Ohio We Are Change, and we're going to keep the ball rolling here in Ohio.